So right now I've got an old loader, but it's not, it's not the answer for the season. I need something I can rely on. So I'm going to see Parker right now. I heard he just bought a whole nother mine. Got a bunch of equipment with it, so I'm hoping maybe he's got a spare loader, because need one bad.
Rick Ness didn't just leave Gold Rush. He vanished after a season packed with breakdowns, heartbreak, and a crushing behind-the-scenes blow no one saw coming. This was the heart of the crew breaking under the pressure. After a dark twist changed everything. Tune in, because what broke Rick might just break the whole show next. The gold room that broke the backbone. Something wild went down in season 15 of Gold Rush, and it changed everything. One of the most dependable crew members said peace out, gone, just like that. And this wasn't some quick timeout. It was a full-blown walk-away moment. If you've been watching since the early days, it felt like the end of an era. But here's the kicker. Nobody saw who pushed the final button, and what happened next might just tear the team apart. This wasn't just any guy on the crew. He was the glue, stepping in every time things went sideways. Machines broke, the weather acted up, tempers flared, and he just kept showing up. Calm, steady, locked in. That's why this season hit hard. It wasn't the grind or the hours that pushed him out. It was the weight of everything. Right from the start, Parker Schnabel had his eyes on a massive goal. 10,000 ounces of gold. Yeah, 10,000. Not just a number, a mountain. To make it happen, Parker ran all 3 wash plants. Big Red, Rock, and Bob's plant. Non-stop. All day, every day.
Or do you need anything? Anything I can help with?
Oh, no, I came out here for hello, but yeah, of course I need something too. I always need something, Parker. No, specifically, obviously it's great to see you. Well, I really need a loader.
More wash plants mean more chances to strike gold, but they also mean more breakdowns, more chaos, more mess. The sluice boxes didn't clean themselves. Someone had to be on them constantly, making sure not a single fleck of gold got away. And that someone, he handled it. But he wasn't in his 20s anymore. He was still tough, still pushing, but the gold room never let up. Long hours, no sleep, sore muscles that didn't quit. It wasn't just physical, it consumed him. Time was tight, no breaks, barely a second to catch a breath. While machines kept moving, everyone else was chasing Parker's dream. In the gold room, it became a lonely grind. One man against the mountain. Then came Tatiana Costa, a top-notch operator, crushing it with the big machines. But that wasn't where she was needed. Eventually, her name came up for the gold room, and Parker made the call. She trained fast, learned the system, and started to help. But by then, the cracks had already formed. Even with support, the pressure stayed sky high. Parker wasn't letting go of that 10,000-ounce dream. Stress piled up. The gold room never slowed down. And the toll, it showed on everyone. He had a story too. Back in the day, he was building cabins with Todd Hoffman.
I'm very excited what I see right there. I've been waiting to see bedrock in this hole. We've got it right here. This is where the good stuff is. We're either on the best gold in this hole or we're very close to it.
Didn't even start out mining. But once he got into it, he found his groove. When he joined Parker, it all clicked. He brought stability, turned chaos into calm. Season after season, the team hit big goals. He was a major reason why. But the weight adds up. Every year, the goals got bigger. The job stayed just as brutal. And this season, it pushed harder than ever before. Fans saw the signs. He looked worn down. Not just tired, but drained. Like the fire was fading. And maybe it was. Because at some point, you start asking, is it worth it? Mining isn't just a job. It's a test of willpower. You need heart, grit, and a bit of madness. He had all of that. But even the toughest reach a limit. And when the spark starts to fade, it's hard to bring it back. This wasn't quitting. It was choosing something else. Health, sanity, peace. Walking away takes strength, especially from something that shaped your whole world. But in the end, he made the call. And that took guts. The whole crew felt it. His absence changed the rhythm. He wasn't just a worker. He was the backbone. With him gone, everyone had to shift, adapt, figure it out again. Every ounce of gold came with a cost this season. The machines kept rolling, dirt kept flying, Parker kept pushing. But the human toll? That was real. When someone like him steps away, it sends a message. There's something to learn here. Sometimes walking away is strength. Knowing when to stop takes more courage than keeping up the grind. He didn't just exit a job, he made a stand. Season 15 wasn't just a turning point for one person, it was a wake-up call for everyone watching. These aren't just TV characters, they're real people, with limits, with dreams, and with breaking points. This season showed us all that even rocks can crack. Whether he comes back or not, his time on Gold Rush left a mark. He helped shape the team, the show, and the story. And now his story takes a different turn. Maybe it leads back to mining. Maybe not. Either way, it's a chapter worth remembering. Rick Ness resigned. Not because he failed, but because he mattered enough to himself to walk away. And in a world that never stops pushing, that choice speaks louder than gold. Rick Ness just made a move that has everyone talking. The dude who became a household name on Gold Rush? He decided to walk away after season 15, and trust me, things got strange. Real strange. Things were already tough, but what happened next changed everything for Rick. The collapse of a crew. First off, if you've watched even a minute of the show, you know Rick isn't just some guy with a shovel. He was the heartbeat of his crew. He wasn't afraid to get dirty, push his limits, or face disaster head on. But this season, something flipped. The usual rhythm was off. Machines broke more than they ran. The ground was all kinds of messed up. Even the crew looked like they were running on fumes. Now imagine running full speed into a wall made of ice and rock, and instead of backing off, you just keep hitting it. That was Rick this season. The stress was practically oozing out of the screen. He tried to keep things together, but the cracks started showing. Big targets like hitting that massive 10,000-ounce haul started feeling less like goals and more like fairy tales. Every time they tried to get ahead, something dragged them down harder. He'd always been the guy to fix things before anyone else even noticed they were broken. But this season, it was like the problems had formed a team. Equipment breakdowns, brutal weather, tension so thick it could snap a shovel in half. And him, he didn't look like the same guy anymore. That fire in his eyes, fading, the gold, slowing down big time. And in mining, when the gold slows, everything else spirals. Bills stack up, crews lose steam, spirits drop. Still, he kept pushing, grinding, until one day something just gave. Whispers started floating. Maybe he was done. Fans didn't want to believe it. But behind the scenes, it was obvious. He'd hit the wall. The same guy who once battled icy rivers and crushing setbacks now looked worn thin. When season 15 ended, he dropped the bomb. He was stepping away.
After that season with Parker ended, I made the decision that I'm going out on my own. I said my piece to him. He knows how thankful I am, but that's the end of it. I don't have to kiss his ass the rest of his life.
But here's the twist. It wasn't just burnout. Something major went down during the season, something big enough to stop him in his tracks. Nobody's saying what exactly, but there's talk of serious behind-the-scenes drama. More than just busted machines or bad ground. The kind of storm that tears even the strongest crews apart. People close to the action say it wasn't an easy call. He fought hard to stay, tried to fix the mood, keep the team on track, but the hits kept coming, and even the toughest got to step back eventually. He did. The shock was real. The guy who never bailed, who lived for the goal game, just hit pause. It didn't feel right, but it wasn't about losing passion. It was about not being able to keep going like before. Still, this isn't the end. If you know him, you know he's not the fade into the background type. There's talk he's already working on something new. Maybe not in the Yukon, maybe not with the same crew, but that fire, still burning. Whatever it was, season 15, it'll go down as the wildest ride yet. Highs that soared, lows that hit hard. And if he does come back, it'll be on his terms. No more patching things up with duct tape and sheer willpower. Because gold isn't just in the ground. It's in the way you fight, the way you rise, the way you decide enough is enough and still keep moving forward. Rick Ness used to be the guy who just couldn't lose. Season after season, he was out there in the freezing cold, mud everywhere, pushing machines to their breaking point and digging up gold like it was candy on Halloween. But then, something wild went down in season 15, and it flipped everything upside down. People were left scratching their heads, and the rumors started flying. Was it burnout? Was it drama behind the scenes? All anyone knows is that Rick Ness walked away, just like that. No speech, no wave goodbye, just dust in the air and an empty claim.
All that, and I get it, but that's my decision. We're a small crew, and everybody needs to get in where they fit in on that day. And if he's got a problem with that going forward, well, that'll be a problem. But if he doesn't,
back when Rick first went solo, folks weren't sure he had what it took. He wasn't Parker Schnabel. He wasn't Tony Beats. He was the sidekick trying to go big. But man, did he prove everyone wrong. First season running his own crew, and he pulled more gold than most vets could even dream of. We're talking hundreds of ounces. That's not just some beginner's luck. That's what happens when someone wakes up before the sun and doesn't stop until the stars are out. That's grind, sweat, and a little bit of crazy mixed in. Every year, his setup got bigger. He added new machines, hired more people, took more risks. You could see it in his eyes. This wasn't just a job, this was personal. Rick was on a mission, not just to find gold, but to prove something, maybe to himself, maybe to everybody watching. He wasn't going to be remembered as someone riding coattails. He wanted to be the guy calling the shots and pulling in the big numbers. Mining is wild. One minute everything's working, the next a pump dies or the weather dumps a foot of snow. Rick never backed down. Machines broke, and he fixed them. Crew members lost hope, and he gave them a reason to keep digging. He kept showing up, day after day, tired, muddy, beat up, but there. That's the thing about Rick Ness. He didn't run from hard times. He stomped right through them. What came after hit harder than any broken machine. It got personal. More gold, more weight to carry. Off camera, though, things were getting messy. He had a girlfriend, an Australian vet nurse. She even showed up on the show. For a while, it looked like things were steady. But when you're knee-deep in mud every day, it's hard to keep the spark alive. Long hours, no breaks, constant stress. Relationships need attention. And Rick was all in on mining. Eventually, they split. It hit him, harder than he let on. He'd admitted in interviews he wasn't great at balancing things. Work always came first. The deeper he went into mining, the more weight he seemed to carry. It wasn't just gold dust anymore. It was stress, responsibility, pressure to keep the show alive and the money coming. And let's not forget, people loved to talk. Fans had opinions. Social media was full of them. Every move he made got picked apart. That stuff doesn't just roll off your back, no matter how tough you act. Season 15 came around like a wrecking ball. There were new locations, bigger goals, and more cameras. Rick didn't look the same. There was something different about him. Not just the usual tired face, but something heavier. People noticed. He seemed more distant, more serious. Less of that fire he used to bring. The season rolled on, and then just like that, he was gone. No exit speech, no warning. One episode he was digging, the next he wasn't. The guessing started. Some said health issues. Others whispered about a breakdown.
Just took off.
And you don't know when he's coming back? You didn't say anything? You haven't heard from him?
No, I haven't heard anything. Called him. Nothing. It sucks.
A few thought he just hit the wall and couldn't go on. No one could say for sure. But the one thing everyone agreed on? Gold Rush without Rick Ness felt off. His rough style, the raw energy, the way he got things done even when everything fell apart. That was missing. Walking away from gold mining isn't just about leaving the dirt. It's walking away from your crew, your reputation, your shot at striking it rich. But maybe Rick saw something others didn't. Maybe he knew that if he kept going, he'd lose more than money. Maybe he'd lose himself. That kind of non-stop grind can chew people up. Long days become long nights, and soon it's all just one big blur. But don't forget where Rick came from. He wasn't some trust fund kid with a backup plan. He built his spot from the ground up. He started under Parker, but he didn't stay in that shadow. He stepped out, took the wheel, and ran with it. That takes guts, especially in a game where one bad call can tank everything. People remember the glory years, like that time he and Parker teamed up and just crushed every record, or that one season where it looked like everything was falling apart, machines down, people quitting, but Rick kept it going. Barely. But he did it. Those are the moments that stick, not just because of the gold, but because of the grit it took to pull it off. There's no gold map that guarantees a win. Miners throw everything at the dirt and hope something shiny comes out. Rick played that game better than most. He didn't win every season, but he always showed up. That's more than a lot of folks can say. Even when he hit rough patches, Rick didn't hide. When things got too much, he took a step back. Maybe that's not quitting. Maybe that's the smartest move anyone can make, knowing when to push and when to pause. Gold's not going anywhere, but peace of mind, that stuff's hard to find once it's gone. Looking at the bigger picture, Rick's story isn't just about dirt and metal. It's about fighting for something.
That's like an ounce right there. That's a beauty. Like, that's worth some serious money. That's an ounce. Probably be $4 grand right there.
Believing in yourself when others don't, making the hard calls, living with the results. His story hit fans because it was real, messy, loud, unpredictable, just like life. Rick could come back. It wouldn't be shocking. That kind of fire doesn't just burn out, it waits, it smolders. It might even be burning brighter now that he's had time to breathe. Time away can make you miss the rush, the sound of the machines, the smell of fresh dirt, the first nugget of the season. That stuff gets in your veins. Until then, he left behind a story that's still being talked about. A story full of wins, losses, heartbreak, and hustle. A guy who didn't just show up, he made noise. He made people believe they could do more, be more, even when things went sideways. Rick Ness might be off the claim, but his story's not over. Not even close. Whether he comes back or stays out for good, he's already made his mark. And that's something not even the biggest gold haul can top. Rick Ness has always been the kind of guy who never backed down from a challenge. From the early days of Gold Rush, he was the tough, gritty dude with something to prove. But what happened in season 15 was something nobody saw coming. It flipped everything upside down and left fans speechless. Back in the beginning, Rick was working under someone else's name, but that fire in his eyes said he wanted more. He wanted to make his own name and carve out his own piece of the frozen land. This wasn't a weekend gig or some dream cooked up in a cozy office. This was blood, sweat, and pure, stubborn grit. Every shovelful of dirt was a step closer to proving he belonged out there. There were seasons when the gold just wouldn't stop flowing. One mining team brought in more than 3,600 ounces, which turned into over $4 million. That's not a haul, that's a treasure chest buried in mud and snow. Rain poured down, wind blew hard, but they kept digging. They knew what they were doing, and it showed.
Run. I'm nervous, honestly, because if this works out, that's more of an opportunity to get more gold this year. But if it's not, then it's just a waste of time, and time's not on our side right now.
When season 9 rolled in, things got even more wild. A target of 7,000 ounces was set at Scribner Creek. Big goal, big risk. But they didn't just meet it, they stomped all over it. The final count climbed past 7,400 ounces. That kind of gold adds up to nearly $9 million. Nobody could believe how far the limits were being pushed. But someone was always pushing harder. Rick had stepped out of the shadows by then. He was trying to lead, to prove he could carry a crew and hit big numbers too. But things didn't go according to plan. That year, he barely scraped past 1,000 ounces. It wasn't the kind of total that gets headlines. It was the kind that keeps you awake at night, thinking about everything that went wrong. Meanwhile, Tony Beats, the bearded powerhouse with a booming voice and big machines, aimed for 6,000 ounces, but came in with just under 4,400. Even missing the target, he still outpaced most others. It was another win for the one who seemed to always be thinking 3 steps ahead. Season 10 rolled in like a snowstorm. Tough, cold, and unpredictable. But that didn't stop the top crew. They fell 200 ounces short of their last total. But gold prices had climbed, and that meant more money anyway. By the end of that season, they mined over $10 million worth of gold. That kind of payout turns dust into dreams. So was it smart strategy or just plain luck that kept Tony Beats on top? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Gold Rush drama.